Hello.
Cooper? All right, Adam. Mate, do you know there's two sorts of people in this world? There's sergeants and there's constables. Now, who do you think cleans the cars?
Ah, it's your milkshake.
It's the way you drive.
Well, you know.
Where's McKinley? Where's Dash?
Oh, I think she stayed at her mum's last night.
Do you two share a house or don't you?
Well, I went out myself last night.
Just get on with it. Local businessman caught in sex romp with Bunny. Tony Timms. Where does he dig up this drink?
Well, it was a bucks party, and I think young Tony got himself on the guest list, you know what I mean?
Never invite Tony. Where did you spring from?
I think he's a stray.
What a beautiful animal.
What are you talking about? A bloke inside got attacked by one of them last week.
Don't forget that little Amy
Hey,
Jackson
where's
cop
another
in
space?
too,
This
eh?
one's useless. The detective's been doing his back with it again. Hey! Get away! Did somebody shoot that bloody dog? You half-wit bring a thing like that in here?
Oh, it couldn't be the same dog, boss.
McKinley, the description matches. I mean, the dog that attacked the Jackson girl was the same height, colour, weight.
Yeah, but there are lots of dogs this size and shape. Come on, look at him. These the eyes of a killer, eh? Do I have to give him to evil Eric?
Eric Lindbergh is the ranger, if you don't mind, and he will do his job.
Oh, yeah, he'll shoot the dog, just like he did with my brother's dog, which had only been missing for 5 minutes.
Well, he can't stay here. Yeah, anyway, I tried to get on to him, the ranger, and he wasn't available, so you're going to have to keep trying.
Oh, actually, boss, you might have to get someone else to do it. I need a little bit of time off this afternoon. Sorry, I should have told you before, but I've got a doctor's appointment.
Didn't you see Zoe the other day?
Yeah, it's not Zoe, it's a specialist. And you're absolutely sure that nothing else was taken?
Just the coat.
Mr. Eagle, it just seems quite strange that a thief would go to all the trouble of breaking into the house and only steal one coat.
I gave that coat to my mother.
Sorry,
Nearly
Dad.
$200.
Yep. What do you got?
I'm squeezed, mate.
When he leave his premises on the 5th, he was due back on Monday the 8th. There you go.
Hey, boss, got a missing persons report on the Jack Rafferty believed to be headed our way.
Well, he's only been missing for 2 days, hasn't
Yes, but he's not at his usual haunts, is he?
And boss, we've got a cold burger at a house near State Forest.
Well, you know what to do, Doyle. For listeners, has McKinley said anything to you about having to see a specialist?
No, not a thing. Mr. Ingle is adamant, though, that it was only his mum's colt. Come on, hey, hey.
It was a gold
Come
plate.
on.
McKinley, get that dog out of here.
I'm trying.
Oh, it must be the aftershave, mate. Those women and dogs wild.
McKinley, I'm going to count to 5. If he's not out here by then, he won't even make it to the pound. 1, 2, 3.
Take him out.
You all right?
You hurt, mate?
Bye.
Is it gone?
Now, that is not what I'd call a very smart career move. Sit. Hey, don't you worry. I'll look after you.
Sue Patterson.
Well, I'd say it's more like a sprain than a break, Mr. Ingle.
Just wait till you get the medical report. It'll be in the envelope with the solicitor's letter.
Run Mr. Ingle over to the hospital, will you please, Coop?
Yeah.
Oh, well, look who's here.
Timsy!
G'day, all.
What can we do for you, Tony?
Well, I'm on some information now. I'm doing a bit of a piece on the recent spate of dog attacks, you know, like the one on little Amy Jackson.
Well, it's not a police matter. Try the RSPCA.
What a dangerous animal roams loose in Mount Thomas. It's not a
Hey,
police
it's not
matter.
roaming loose, mate. It's right here. I saw it. The damn thing just went for my throat.
What? Well, where is it?
Where's what?
The dog!
Mr. Ingle, come on. Let's go.
I can't see a dog here, can you?
Tony, this is an extremely emotive issue.
I just want one photo. One photo.
Look, a beat up in your paper could create a whole lot of unnecessary panic.
Hey, I report the facts and only the facts, all right?
You don't say.
Yeah, all right, okay, all right.
The facts are, Constable McKinley found a stray healer. Now, whether it's responsible for the attacks remains to be seen. Either way, there's little can be done until the owner is found, and that's a council responsibility, not ours.
All right, if that's the case, why isn't it in the pound then?
We were just about to phone the ranger again, weren't we?
You are aware, aren't you, the healer's on the list of the top 10 most dangerous breeds. You know, Rottweilers, pit bulls.
What are you suggesting, Tony, that we go out and shoot the lot of them?
All right, okay. Thank you very much for your time, Sergeant Croydon. Oh, sorry, Senior Sergeant Croydon now, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, by the way, You own a blue heeler, don't you? Yeah.
I'll sick him onto you if you're not careful.
Hello, 3SD. Do you still do community service in Albury?
The best community service you can do is shoot that dog of yours.
Yeah, it's the best service we could do our ears.
What's his name
you
there, mate? What's his
See? Okay, Timsy. Don't move. See you,
Ta-ra,
mate.
mate.
Bye-bye. Hooroo.
All right,
Bye.
listen, but just remember, when this story comes out, don't you guys turn around and accuse me of not getting my facts straight, because I've tried. I really tried this
Oh,
time.
mate, we know you're a trier, a real trier.
I tell you, didn't I, that I went and saw Amy Jackson in the hospital.
Yes, you did.
Poor little kid. Plastic surgery might work miracles. So that little girl is going to be scarred for life.
What did he say?
See you, Timsy.
Oh, any time in the next 15 minutes.
Well, I suppose my eardrums can last that long.
That's not loud, is it?
Not that. That.
Oh.
You did talk to the ranger, didn't you?
Doyle tried several times, but he's not got his phone turned on, I think.
Well, a fat lot of good that is.
So, mate, how's Maxie Ingle?
Well, he did a runner at the hospital on both legs.
Excellent. McKinley, why don't you go to the Ingle farm and have a chat to Rose about this missing coat? Take Doyle with you.
Okay. Adam, can you look after the dog for me, please?
Oh, yeah, we'll look after him. How fast can he run?
Stolen? No. Where'd you get that idea from?
Your son, actually.
Oh, for heaven's sake. You're going to think me a right dill. But you see, I spilled some oil on the coat. Couldn't get the stain out for love nor money. I knew Max would be furious with me, so I burnt it. Disposed of the evidence, as you people say. Quiet, Timmy!
Is that when you told Max the coat was stolen?
Well, if I'd known he was going to come running to you... You won't tell him, will you?
We may have to, Mrs. Ingle. He was most insistent about us following it through. But it might be better coming from you.
I suppose so.
Oh, how's his leg?
There's nothing wrong with his leg. It's just an excuse not to walk Timmy.
So what kind of dog's that?
A pit bull terrier. Oh, you mustn't believe all those terrible things you read in the press. I've had pit bulls for years. Gentle as lambs, most of them.
Oh, I thought they were bred to fight.
Yeah, originally. And there's still the odd one that causes trouble. But as I always say, it's the deed, not the breed.
Well, thanks, Mrs. Ingle. You've been most helpful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Constable Dash McKinley at the Mount Thomas Police Station. Now, this is a male dog, roughly 5 years old, with a friendly disposition. Please give Constable McKinley a ring or call into Mount Thomas.
You've lost something, have you there, boss?
My morning tea.
That wouldn't have been a roast beef sandwich.
Yes, it would, as a matter of fact.
Oh, right. I think it went that way.
What?
The dogs, so to speak.
McKinley.
No, it wasn't her. It was Cooper. Cooper's idea.
I'll kill him.
It was the only way he could keep the noise down.
Hey, has it been on yet?
Has what been on?
The announcement.
3 times.
4 times.
Who's counting? And since when did I give you permission to turn this police station into an animal welfare shelter?
Oh.
You right there, mate? What can I do for you?
The name's Banks,
Yeah.
Joel Banks.
Good.
I've come about Brutus.
Aha, the dash hound.
No, he's no sausage dog. He's a healer.
Right.
Thank heavens for that. Come on through, Mr.
Boss, this is Mrs. Marsh. She's just been out having a look at the dog and she swears it's hers.
Well, one of you is clearly mistaken.
There is no mistake. It's Marco.
Brutus.
Do you have any way of identifying him? Papers, photographs?
I have his registration form right here.
I'm telling you, that dog in there is Brutus.
McKinley, could you ring the council, please, see if Mr. Banks has a healer registered in his name?
I never got around to registering him.
So we have 1 dog and 2 owners.
One bona fide owner. Now, if you'll kindly hand over my dog, I'll...
I'm afraid I can't do that without permission from the ranger. He might wish to prosecute.
Well, I'm aware there's a small fine involved. I'm perfectly
Actually, it's quite a
willing to-
large fine, Miss Marsh. You see, it's not just that the dog's been wandering. He's also suspected of having attacked a little girl.
Boss, I'm sure this dog
However, I'm sure the ranger would be very grateful if we could establish which of you is the real owner. And I have to admit, I'm rather curious myself, aren't you, McKinley?
Yes, well, I know of a way that we could find out. Good boy, good boy.
Marco, come here.
Try again.
Marco, heel. Obviously not my dog.
Your turn, Mr. Banks.
Brutus.
He knows that word.
Come on, Brutus.
Oh! Hello. Yeah.
Good boy.
Hey, Dash, why don't you give him to your old lady?
Oh, yeah, she needs a good dog.
Come on, she's got dozens already.
She's got 5, don't exaggerate, and they're all working dogs. She needs a house pet.
We'll give her a goldfish. That's why she'll keep all the limbs intact.
A goldfish. My mum gets a bit lonely, and I'm always going to be here when she calls me.
Your mother is the last person I would expect to get lonely. Look, you've got dozens of relatives in and around Mount Thomas, and that is not an exaggeration.
How would you like to go live with my mum? Brutus, hey?
Brutus, is that what you're going to call him?
He answers to it. It's probably his name.
Big coincidence, Banks, knowing it.
Oh, I don't know. After Caesar and Prince, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Well, I've checked out Caravan Park's camping ground. Nobody remembers a Jack Rafferty.
Motel, friend.
The neighbour reported him missing. Saw him with camping equipment.
Well, why don't you check the State Forest Reserve? Plenty of people like to rough it out there over a weekend.
Yeah, righto, mate. Then I'm going to call it quits, eh?
Hey, Dash, didn't you take a call about an abandoned car in the State Forest?
When was this?
This morning,
In between calls to 3SD.
Just look. Yellow ute and... This is Jack Rafferty's car,
All
Dash.
right, all right. Take Schultz and Cooper with you. McKinley and Doyle can come out later if you need them.
I'm sorry.
Stay awake, eh?
Radio.
In the meantime, take this dog outside so it can do its business, then put it back in the cells and leave it there.
Come with me. Good boy.
Yeah, boss, we found it. There's no sign of Rafferty. It's parked outside an old tin shack, and there's a whole lot of camping gear in the back of it.
Roger that, Cooper. You better keep looking around, see if there's any trace of where he might have shot through to.
Yep, righto. Mount Thomas 509 going back over.
It looks like he didn't even have any time to set up his camp here.
They didn't need to, mate. The hut looks like it's been fitted out. There's a bed in there. It looks like it's been slept in recently.
Why would he do that?
Could be a cover.
For what?
For this, mate.
There you go. Marijuana.
Yeah, so, Mr. Rafferty's into permaculture, eh?
Heavily. There's plenty of that stuff drying out in the hut.
Operating alone, you think?
Don't know, but I left Nick and Adam out there to be on the safe side.
Did you find the plantation?
No, not yet, but it can't be too far. There's no vehicle track, so he must be cutting this stuff, then walking... Hey, hello, look at this. Mr. Rafferty's got priors for trafficking and possession.
Well, there must be any number of rival growers or dissatisfied customers that'd like to make him disappear.
Yeah, but we can't put up the headstone before we find the body, boss.
How did he behave?
He was just like any other normal dog. He stopped at every post, every bush between here and the pub.
More information than I require.
What do you smell?
Your friend rang, by the way, Evil Eric. He'd like you to take him down to the pound.
But Brutus didn't attack anyone.
Oi, get off it. Get off. Oi, get down. Get Hey. Get him off. Get him down to the pound immediately.
I know most of the healers in the district. Pays to keep an eye on the troublesome breed.
He's not troublesome. He almost bit you, didn't he? Yeah, well, he was scared.
Well, scared or aggro doesn't make any difference. Once they've learned how to use their teeth, there's only one way to handle the buggers.
Charming.
Found him in the State Forest, did you?
No, why?
Oh, I had a couple of reports yesterday about a healer pinching snags off a barbie up at McCarthy's Lookout. 2 of the buggers in 1 week, just my luck. Would you hold this door open for me, love?
Yeah.
Push me.
Did you get onto the Ranger?
Yes, Brutus is now on death row.
If you're trying to make me feel bad, you're wasting your breath. Quite apart from his behaviour, he's left his little calling cards all over the front lawn.
This doesn't say anything about a dog.
What?
This report on Jack Rafferty. Evil Eric said that a healer was sighted in the State Forest. That's a bit much of a coincidence, isn't it?
McKinley, you're obsessed.
Well, why don't I just give Wangaratta a call?
I thought you had an appointment to go to.
It's a little bit later and I've still got time.
Yeah, well, if you've got time, you can come and wash my boot.
Righto, west is the highway, north is just granite and gullies there.
Oh, it's a good place to fall and hurt yourself up to there.
Yes, but it's not a great place for gardening, is it? OK, now Nick and Adam, they've headed east, so if we take the south...
Hey, PJ!
Here you go, mate. Not what we were expecting, but anyway.
Brutus. The dog does get around.
Well, you don't sound too surprised.
We've already worked out at this end that Brutus is probably Rafferty's dog.
We?
Wangaratta checked with the neighbour and the local council. Makes you wonder where Joel Banks fits into all this.
Do you want McKinley to bring him in for another chat?
Oh, just one thing at a time, boss.
No sign of Rafferty.
Negative, but we're still looking.
He's got to be an 83 by now. The dog would never run off otherwise.
Yeah, I'd say so, but there's a lot of bush to search still.
I know someone who could help. Go on, find him. Go on. I think he's onto something.
Aren't you supposed to be the doctor?
Nick!
Not the thing a young lady should see, Dash.
Nick, I can hear the dog barking. Has he found anything?
Yeah, mate, lots of rabbit holes.
Hey, PJ? Oh, dope.
That's more like it.
Oi, the print.
I'll get him. I've got him.
Great, this is good.
I tried to catch him.
Hopeless. Well, mate, they're sort of a print now.
PJ, over here! Dash!
Right, didn't he?
Brutus found him.
Charming.
So, where was the plantation?
Just north of where we found Rafferty.
Oh, yes, and it was a very healthy-looking crop too, eh? John Arthur Rafferty of Wangaratta, you certainly had a green thumb, mate.
Good enough for identification?
Oh, yeah, his face was all there.
You know, I still think it could have been wild dogs. They're certainly big enough up there to attack a person.
Oh, if he was already dead on the ground, maybe.
Well, look, his throat was torn out. He had bite marks all over him. There's no way that he was killed by a person.
PJ, he could have dropped dead from a heart attack.
Exactly. Look, hang on. The guy was 32 years of age.
It happens.
It does. What about Joel Banks?
Yes, well, he is a bit of a loose cannon. I might have a chat to him. Quite the happy couple, eh? Wonder where it all went.
How'd you go?
Oh, no worries.
Good.
Do you want to tell me what was wrong? I know it was nothing. Turned out to be nothing.
There you go. Your mate made the front page.
That's not true. Not that it makes any difference to you.
Come on, Dash. I genuinely like dogs, you know. Now, you want another vodka?
It's water.
Now, you keep this. Oh, it'll be hard to get a copy of this in the morning. This is going to sell like hotcakes. And don't forget to read page 3.
Oh, your bikini girl.
Oh, ha. My exclusive interview with poor little Amy Jackson.
And every word of it is a God's honest truth, Tony?
Look at the photo. It's nice, isn't it? Except for the sutures.
Dinner's ready, you guys. Good.
So you read this. This is a scary, scary dog. Read what she says. Look, the dog's there. It's wagging its tail, a little droopy ear, all cute. Next minute, bang out a taxi. You read that.
Thanks for that, Tony. What do you reckon we could get him on?
What about reckless driving of a motorman?
Sounds
Maggie, Maggie, did you hear what Tony said about the dog's droopy ear?
Yeah.
Well, Brutus doesn't have a droopy ear. So if he didn't attack Amy Jackson, chances are he didn't attack anybody else either.
Dash, he went for Nick, Eric and Max and you.
Hey, Brutus, how are you? Have you missed me? You made some friends?
Vicious dogs are made, not born.
Yeah, but some dogs are bred for aggression, you know, like healers.
They may act mean, but it's a fear thing. Dogs read body language. A person can be giving off all the wrong signals. Oh, maybe the dog's giving you signs to back off and you don't understand. It happens a lot with kids.
But what about dogs that attack for no reason?
There's always a reason. Humans don't always see it, that's all. Some dogs can be trained to defend anything or anybody.
Oh, glad to see the legs better.
Throw that for Timmy, would you, dear?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. He'd send you flying at feeding time. Of course, sometimes the training's unintentional. But the dog learns to attack just the same.
Actually, my mum had a Kelpie once. Used to go you every time you were carrying an umbrella. Apparently, Dad used to belt it with an umbrella every time it peed on his tyres.
Yeah, that'd be right.
McKinley, I'm going to count to 5 if... Okay, then. So what am I doing here?
Well, you're the witness, so you can print the good news.
Oh, who, me?
Oh, Eric!
What?
Look, could you do me a really, really big favour?
What?
Can you take your overalls off, please?
$50, it doesn't work.
Brutus, what's this?
You stupid, Dash. Dash. Dash.
Hey, hello. Hello. Oh, you're fine. I missed you. I missed you too. Well, I had to. It was the only way to prove my theory.
Yes, your theory. I was just getting to
Nick,
that.
Eric, Max Ingle, they were all wearing overalls when Brutus attacked them. So naturally, he's been given a hard time in the past by someone wearing overalls.
Yeah, but Rafferty wasn't wearing overalls.
No, exactly. And that is because Brutus is a placid and affectionate dog with anyone that he trusts.
Unless you're wearing overalls.
Well, the boss wasn't wearing overalls, and the dog had a go at you too, Dash.
Yeah, and that is part B of my theory.
Take it step by step, please, McKinley. I was still trying to come to grips with part A.
Okay, now healers can be trained as watchdogs, right? Yeah. Brutus is a healer.
And PJ brought the dope into the station in a bag with Rafferty's smell all over it.
Yeah, so Brutus was just doing what his instincts had told him to do, probably what he was trained by Rafferty to do. He was protecting the dope. And when he was snapping at me, when I thought that he was snapping at me, he was just warding me off.
And if you'd have told him to sit or stay or whatever command he's been taught, then everything would have been fine. It makes perfect sense to me.
Lovely.
The issue of the dog.
Well, you saw the body. It was the dog.
Maybe it was, but maybe that's what the killer wants us to think.
All right. All right, so who are your suspects?
Well, Joel Banks, he doesn't ring true, and maybe we could have another chat to Janet Marsh. Because, PJ, somebody knows something that we don't.
I've never even met a Jack Rafferty.
Miss Marsh, do you use marijuana?
I'm a 62-year-old pensioner.
Oh, what about a Joel Banks? Have you met him before?
No.
Have you found your dog yet?
No.
Marco, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was Marco registered?
Of course. Senior Sergeant Croydon saw the paperwork.
Yes, well, that was last year's paperwork.
And we've checked with bylaws. You haven't registered Marco this year?
He's always been registered.
I wasn't taking any chances with a valuable dog like that.
And according to the registration, Marco was 13 years old?
Yes.
It's rather old for a dog like that, wouldn't you say?
He died in February. I had no idea I'd miss him so much.
So why not just get another dog?
I made inquiries. I had no idea purebreds cost so much. Marco was given to me, you see, fully trained.
When you heard the radio announcement, you saw the opportunity to get another dog for nothing.
The house seems so empty at night.
So, where's Mr. Banks?
Not at home, his girlfriend reckons. She's lying, of course, so Adam's waiting for him to show his face.
He sounds pretty anxious to avoid us, doesn't he?
Yeah, maybe he thinks we want to give him back the dog.
Yeah. Hey, Mags, you want to check on him?
Yeah.
Get Cooper to bang on his door again, get a list of his regular haunts of his girlfriend. We'll put the word out that we want to speak to him, eh?
Yep.
Where's McKinley?
Serving summonses, I think.
No, I don't think so. She's just been at the pound releasing that bastard dog. I've just had the ranger on the phone. Just find her, will you please,
Yeah,
Doyle?
Boy, is the boss going to be on your case? What's up? Dash? What's up?
McKinley, of all the reckless, irresponsible things
Boss,
to do...
Dash
it's just
has
about
something
takes
she
like that.
needs to
yes,
tell
well,
you.
it had better be good.
Boss.
McKinley?
Do you remember a few weeks ago I had a flu and I thought it would go away? Except it didn't. Dash went back to see Zoe, who found a few things that she didn't like, and so sent her to see a specialist.
What did they say? Are you all right?
No. They think I've got cancer. She found a lump on her neck. She thought that it was swollen glands, and I didn't hear any more about it until today when she tells me that they think it might be Hodgkin's disease.
When you think about it, she has been pretty off the wall lately.
I just thought that was because of the dog.
Well, how long? Do you know?
Oh, charming. She hasn't had a biopsy and you're ready to get her a wreath.
That's not what I meant.
Look, we'll know soon enough. She goes into hospital tomorrow. In the meantime, all we can do is hope for the best and try and act as normally as... Dash, why don't you take the afternoon off?
Well, I have to go home a bit later because I've left Brutus there.
No, don't worry about that. The ranger's taken off to the pound.
But PJ's spoken to him and everything's fine.
Yeah, don't worry. Nothing's going to happen until the case is fully investigated.
I'd rather keep working then.
Yeah, if you're sure.
Dash.
Doyle, take her home. Maggie?
I can feel it. I just wanted to go. No, I know you do. No. I need some help. We're all here to help you. We're all here. I'm so scared of it. I know. I'm so scared of it. I don't. Oh. You have a good cry, let it all out. Good girl. Good girl.
likes to smoke there, Mr. Banks. Huh?
2 counts of possession and 1 of trafficking a drug of dependence.
What a loser.
10 to 1, he smokes the same brand as Jack Rafferty.
Oh, yeah, there's a connection there, mate. Mount Thomas Police. Sergeant speaking.
Pretty awful. She said she wanted to be on her own and I didn't know what to do.
She okay?
No. How'd you go with Banks?
He's got 3 priors. They're all drug-related. We ordered up all the pubs and clubs between here and St David's. And we'll get him eventually.
Oh, that's Clara from the Railway Hotel. Banks is down there having a beer. Hey, Clara, do you just want to keep him down there for... Yeah, just give him a free beer or something. Yeah, good on you.
Somebody got copyright on the name Brutus.
And will you have a dog named Brutus too?
He used to. Nicked off last week.
Yeah? You don't know a bloke called Jack Rafferty, or you don't know his dog?
No.
Well, mate, nothing against Wangaratta, but you're both from there, and you're both into exotic horticulture, so, you know.
Senior?
Thank you. Ta. Did you hear what I said? Evil Eric has got the dog that attacked Amy Jackson. It's a healer cross. It looks a lot like Brutus, except it's got a little floppy ear. There you go. There you go. Oh, and we found Joel Banks. I'm sure that he'll confirm that Brutus did.
And he'll say anything to save himself, and then Evil Eric will still shoot the dog.
No, he won't.
Well, what about Rafferty? Everyone still thinks Brutus attacked him.
Well, I'll prove that he didn't.
There's no point.
Dash.
Everything's gonna die sooner or later.
I see. Dash, if you are sick, you can get treatment.
What if I can't? No, what if it is too far
And
gone,
what if
Maggie?
it isn't? What did the specialist say?
The specialist doesn't know. It could be all through my bones. It could be anywhere.
Well, how about you wait until you get the results of the biopsy, huh?
It's just not fair, Maggie.
No, I know it is not fair. But we can't give up yet.
You all right?
Yep. What's happening?
I'll ask the detective.
Oh, he's a user. Admittedly knew Rafferty back in Wangaratta, but he denies anything to do with the Mount Thomas plantation or the death of Rafferty.
Well, he's lying.
Yeah, we just got to prove the connection. I know that.
Well, the connection's the dog. It's Brutus.
Now you sound like Dash.
All right, say Banks killed Rafferty and he blamed the dog. Why would he turn up a couple of days later and actually claim the dog?
I don't know. Let's ask him.
Take a seat, thanks. Thank you, Adam.
Interview recommenced at 2:40 p.m. Well, Mr. Banks, you could be in a lot of trouble.
So you got me on possession.
Oh, that's nothing. That's just for starters.
What's she on about?
I think you killed Jack Rafferty, Mr. Banks. That's what I'm on about.
Hey, no
I
way.
think you killed Jack Rafferty, and to try and save yourself, you made it look like the dog did it. Now, that is pretty unfair, Mr. Banks, even on a dog. But I suppose life's pretty unfair sometimes, isn't it?
Look, I didn't even know he was bloody dead till I read the paper.
All right, so you better tell us all about it, eh? Might be your only chance.
Well?
All right. Rafferty was supplying me back in Wang. Starting a crop here was my idea. I thought we'd have a nice little thing going. Him growing, me lining up business with my new Mount Thomas mates. I introduced him around. It's the worst mistake I ever made.
Ah, bypassed the middleman, did he?
Yeah. And he was ripping me off. I've been paying for heads. I'm getting that garbage.
Well, why don't you pick your own?
Jack was too cunning. The closest I ever got to the crop was when I tailed him back to the hut.
Better still, eh? Picked, dried, ready to go.
Not with Brutus on guard.
Mr. Banks, when did you actually follow Mr. Rafferty?
It was Friday night. I was going to wait till Jack was safely on the road back to Wang and then go back and have a good look around for the plantation.
All right, when you went back on Monday, he was still there, was he?
Yeah, I guess, but I never saw him. I didn't even get as far as the hut. That damn dog came at me out of nowhere. I just ran. I've never been back.
All right, so why 2 days later did you try to claim the dog?
I heard the radio ad. And I wondered if maybe it was old Brutus. I thought he might have wandered off from camp or something, and Jack had just headed off without him. Seemed like too good an opportunity to pass up.
Opportunity?
Well, guarding the stuff was only one of Brutus's little tricks. You could say to him, find Jack, and he would. Anytime, anywhere.
Ah, so I see you were going to take Brutus back to the hut, tell him to find Jack and hope that he'd follow his trail back to the plantation. Very good.
Very good. Now, hang on. Now, you weren't worried about the dog turning aggressive again?
Brutus? No. No, he's a funny old dog, Brutus. He'll let you take the food right out of his mouth. If it go near Jack's supply, and by Jeez, you'd be lucky to live to tell the tale.
All right, so if you didn't make it to the hut on Monday, why would Brutus chase you off?
Brutus? Oh, mate, it wasn't Brutus. This was some other savage-looking mongrel.
Pit Bull Terrier.
Rose Ingle has a pit bull terrier.
Really?
Hmm.
Well, her place backs onto the state forest.
Suppose it's not that far from
And she's
Rafferty's
taken the
place.
dog for a walk and come across Rafferty.
The dog gets aggro and has a go at Rafferty.
Now, I wonder if that burnt coat's got anything to do with this.
Well, if this is what happened, it would have been covered in blood, wouldn't it?
We're soaked in it.
Mrs. Ingle, we're going to need you to come down to the station. I'm sorry.
He attacked me with a shovel. Jack Rafferty. That's when Timmy
Timmy was protecting you, wasn't he?
He was like a thing possessed.
So you let Brutus out hoping that he'd be blamed?
Certainly not. I was worried about the poor thing. Locked up, likely to starve to death. Later, I went back to the hut and I managed to let him out. I knew he was bound to be picked up sooner or later.
But you did throw the collar away.
Yeah, to protect the dog. I knew you'd think he was responsible. Timmy was to blame. I know now there's only one thing for it.
So, where's the dog?
You sure about this?
Jack Rafferty was the scum of the earth. But even scum doesn't deserve to die like that.
Legally, it could be argued the dog had a right to attack, right? And it was just defending you.
Timmy's killed somebody. And I'm frightened now. It's only a matter of time before he realizes that. Just let's get this over with.
Well, Gabby, see, I don't want a dog, but you, on the other hand, need a dog for protection and love, and the only thing is that he doesn't like overalls.
Did we ever find out what the problem with the overalls was?
Oh, yeah, Banks knew all about it, mate. Now, apparently Rafferty, he bought the dog from this motor mechanic, and the motor mechanic used to get stuck into it with a monkey wrench.
He's dead with a monkey wrench.
Well, I'm going to find a home for that dog if it kills me.
Can't Dash keep him? I mean, pets are supposed to improve your health.
Yes, mate, and what happens if her health doesn't improve, eh?
Oh, that's being positive, PJ.
Well, mate, a bit of realism wouldn't go astray.
Why don't you give Janet Marsh a try?
Janet Marsh, why didn't I think of that? I really don't know, Maggie. Come on, let's give him to Janet. She'll give him a really good home.
First in, best dressed. Now, look, if you'd told me that you'd found somewhere to keep the dog, well, it might have been different. I'm sorry, love, but I've got a duty of care to make sure it goes to a good home.
How do you know if it's going to a good home?
See for yourself. A new owner in person.
I don't believe it.
He's never had a dog before, but I reckon he's a natural, don't you?
Well, just as long as he doesn't give up journalism and become a motor mechanic, he'll be fine. Well, at least Brutus is safe. Maybe it's an omen.
Brutus doesn't have a life-threatening illness.
Oh, I don't know. How would you describe Tony Timms?
Cancer's just a little bit different. You of all people should know that.
Because of my mum? Dash, my mum had breast cancer. They found it too late. It's a totally different situation.
Oh, well, like you said, I'll just have to wait for the biopsy results.
You listen to me, Dash. My mother loved her life. She would have given anything to keep living. She certainly wouldn't have given up before she started.
Except she never got a chance, did she?
Well, I can tell you it's not going to happen again. Because I'm not going to lose another person like that. It wouldn't be fair. So, if things don't go your way this time, then you fight it. You take the chance that my mother never got and you fight. And you beat the bastard.
I'll try. I'll try, Maggie.
Oh, good.